Hey guys, Sally here. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to get you caught up on where I am, what's going on, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and all of that stuff. We're going to run the intro first, but before we get to that, please make sure that you are still subscribed if you believe you have already. And if you haven't, why not subscribe? Doesn't cost you anything, helps out the channel a lot. Hit that thumbs up, let YouTube know you like the video, leave a comment down below, even if it's just comment for YouTube, CFYT. And let me know if you got any questions about what's going on, what I'm doing, all that kind of stuff. Alright, let's roll the intro and we're going to get right into it. Alright, so I really thought I was going to be able to shoot this outside this afternoon, and I am both happy and sad to say that there's a really nice breeze. I'm parked under a bunch of trees, and so the wind is ruffling all the leaves, and it's really loud outside. It's also very pleasant, so I'm heading out there as soon as I'm done with this. I'm going to show you where I am. I shot a little bit of video before I came in and sat down. What a difference a day makes. Here it is, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I just got parked up for the evening. This is a lovely reservoir, which is a day-use site for fishing. And there are a couple of people that are out here with kayaks. They got a pickup truck up there. But that's where I'm camped. 3 days, free camping, and temperatures are in the mid-80s with a slight breeze. That's such an improvement from what I've had the last couple of days. What do you think, Kit? Do you think it's an improvement? Is it nice? I think it's nice. And it's very, very nice. So, and it's kind of a cool location, but let's talk about first where I am. We'll get to that in a minute. What I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and whether or not you should do it. So, let's start with, why am I a full-time RVer? A couple of reasons. There's actually a lot of reasons. I'm just going to touch on one or two here, which are that I love being out in nature. I love being able to move at a slower pace. We'll come back to that. I love being able to sit and relax. I love being able to work on things that I would otherwise be distracted from in a sticks and bricks environment. This is all me, not you. I'm just telling you what I love, okay? But all of that is really, really awesome. What I don't love is what I'm doing right now, although I'm really looking forward to the outcome. So what I'm doing right now is hightailing it across the country from Southern California to Illinois, Northern Illinois, a little over 2,000 miles in a little under 5 days of full driving. I don't travel that way anymore. I used to. When I thought I was going on vacation, I'd pound out 500 miles a day, and I would just start first thing in the morning, keep going until it was almost dark, stop, sleep, eat, sleep, repeat the next day. And I'd do that until I got to my destination, and then I'd turn around and do the same thing and get back home as fast as I could. That's not a style of travel that really works for me anymore. And in fact, most of the time now, it's like, I may move an hour away every 4 days to a week or so. Generally I like to stay in one place about a week if it's a nice place. And, 4 days is kind of like, that's a sweet spot too. It's worth doing the setup, it's worth finding the place and hanging out. A week is awesome. A lot of people like to stay 2 weeks. You can do that in most locations. Although where I am right now, it's a 3-day limit for free. For me, it's like 4 to 7 days is about my personal input in terms of when I want to be moving and going to see something new and doing something different. And part of the reason for that, I can stay longer if I'm with other people sometimes. Part of the reason for me is I don't have a tow vehicle. So if I want to go do something else, or I want to go get groceries, or I want to go exploring, I'm breaking camp to do that. And I don't mind doing that. Typically what I do is I'll do a whole bunch of sightseeing and stuff on the way to camp once I picked a camp out. And then when I leave, I'll do a whole bunch of sightseeing again on my way to my next camp. And sometimes I'll just stay one night and then do some more sightseeing in the area. It just depends on what's going on. In this case, I'm hightailing it by my standards now across the country, doing between 425 and 450 miles a day, and it's very, very tiring. So why am I doing it? because I decided it was time for a new to me RV. And I've got a few reasons around that. If you've been following me, you've heard some hints about some of this, some stuff maybe not. And if you're hearing traffic noise in the background, that's because I'm probably, I don't know, an eighth of a mile from I-76 in Nebraska at a free campsite on a reservoir that's absolutely gorgeous. And I know the noise is kind of like white noise to me when I go to sleep, so it doesn't really bother me. Why a different RV? Well, let's start with the fact that when I bought this one, I thought I was just going on vacation. And it's been almost 2 years to the day that I'll be getting the next one. I think I got this one August 5th, and I'm picking up the new one on August 1st. So from the standpoint of going on vacation, needing to put the slide out in order to be able to put the bed down didn't seem like a big deal. 22 months later of full-time RV living, because I only 2 months after I got it, I decided to go full-time. Not necessarily deliberately, it just worked out that way. So 22 months later, having to do that every single day, that's not working for me anymore. It's too inconvenient, it's too limiting, you know, it's just too much in all the wrong ways. And it's actually been exacerbated since I got Kit, that I can't show you right now because it's warm, and he's laying on the floor in front of the door catching the breeze coming in, which is really very nice. In fact, this is the nicest, this is the third of our pre-travel days so far. We got 2 more to go. Or as I keep telling him, 3 more sleeps tonight and 2 more, and then we get the new RV. The first day, we were coming up out of Nevada, you know, out of Las Vegas, all the way through northern Nevada, Arizona, into Utah. And temperatures were high 90s, low 100s, and it was just awful. It was really, really, really tough. And then yesterday, same thing, high 90s, low 100s. And I can't remember if this happened yesterday or the day before now, so I'll add it in here to show you. But I almost had a disaster on the road. I was in a construction zone, there was no shoulder, couldn't do anything, and they had the lanes, you know, weaving around. So I ended up having to cross the rumble strips on the side of the road several times. And the last time that I did it, all of a sudden my wheel started shaking! What on earth is going on? And there was kind of a weird noise. But no place for me to pull over, there wasn't any shoulder. So I had to go probably another 3/4 of a mile before I could pull over. And I think because of the centripetal force, the issue, which was the hubcap, the beauty ring on the front passenger side wheel, it had stayed in place while I was at speed. But when I got off the shoulder of the road and I slowed down, I'm looking in my rearview mirror and I see it flying down the shoulder behind me. I'm like, wait, what? What? Fortunately, there wasn't anything serious. It was just a matter of the beauty ring coming off, but I don't understand why. I mean, why would that happen now? It's, you know, nobody's touched it for many, many months. So I got out. It was 110 degrees while I walked down the shoulder of the road to go retrieve it. That was day before yesterday, actually, because that was still in Nevada. This is the morning after at Parowan Gap Petroglyphs site in Parowan, Utah-ish. I was quite surprised yesterday evening about how many people came here and did like trail hikes in the evening and checked out the petroglyphs. We're going to check them out this morning and see the difference in lighting. And then yesterday we came to this lovely overlook. Put that in here so you can see what that looks like. And I thought, well, it's beautiful. This would be a nice place to, you know, get out, stretch our legs for a little while. And I pulled up into the RV parking area, and I looked at the thermometer, and it was 110 degrees, and I'm like, holy crap-a-noli. So it was, we'd been on the road for quite a while. We hadn't had a break at all. So when we got out, because we were on the blacktop, I actually picked the kid up and carried him under my arm until we got over on the pavement. The heat of the pavement and, you know, the sidewalk and the dirt didn't seem to bother him at all, but man, definitely warm. So, you know, so that was yesterday. And then, and I gotta say, the first day the scenery was not outstandingly beautiful. It was interesting, but not beautiful. most of yesterday and most of today was absolutely gorgeous. Yesterday we were coming through Utah into Colorado on I-70, I-15 up to I-70. We went through Glenwood Canyon. We actually stayed west of Glenwood Canyon in a rest area last night, and I'm going to show you that as well. How's this for pastoral? How's that for Kit? Look at this view. Pretty awesome. Let's go all the way around. So this is a little offshoot path right here, but there's a paved concrete path. We're going to go look a little further. And up on top of that hill over there where that tree is, beyond that a little bit, is a rest area. That's where I'm camping tonight. Let's go see what we see down the trail. So apparently, this is a bike trail. Bike, hike, whatever. Nice and wide. It's like, I don't know, 10 feet wide. I just saw somebody go by on a bicycle. And then there's like little offshoot trails here that go up the hill and stuff. So I guess you can do that, but it's kind of nice to stay clean, I'm thinking. What do you think, Kit? Kit says, I don't care about being clean. Clean's for other people. And apparently it's rather lengthy, the trail. So this water source over here that we were looking at is called No Name Creek. You see there's another little pathway that'll go down there. Not sure how long the trail is. Sun's over the mountain. I'm not going real far tonight. But I think it follows Glenwood Canyon for at least a while. But how gorgeous is this? Just beautiful. And it's the reward at the end of a long day of driving. So that was absolutely gorgeous, and I don't normally do rest areas, but it was also really fun. It's a very popular rest area for campers. So more campers were there than, just people using the rest area. So I had a couple of conversations with several different guys at different times, 3 different men. And that was a lot of fun, being able to talk philosophy and why are you doing what you're doing and all that kind of stuff. Nobody wanted to be filmed those here, and to see them on camera. And then today, I got up, I was on the road at 7:30 this morning, went through Glenwood Canyon, absolutely gorgeous. That'll show up in a later video because I need to get it off my GoPro. And basically just pounded out the miles all day long. Part of the issue is I'm moving east, so I'm changing time zones basically every day. So yesterday I was in Mountain Time, today I'm in Central Time. I think I'm in Central Time now until I get to my destination in Illinois. So the bed is one thing. The lack of floor space is another thing. I didn't realize until recently how big a deal this was to me. And part of the issue is, I used to do yoga every day. There is not enough room in this rig for me to be able to lay out a yoga mat on the floor and do yoga. There will be in the new rig, and there was in my prior trailer. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to that. I think it's going to help me physically a lot. And then, some of the other stuff, it's a corner kitchen. Yeah, it's a corner kitchen. It's really pretty hard to work in. Because I'm reaching back into the corner to try and cut the stuff or whatever. And I've done some workarounds. I've got a cutting board that fits over the sink. So I'm not like doing this trying to cut stuff. And that helps a lot. But it's still very, very small and very limiting. So, and until I had a custom-made counter extension made, you couldn't open the refrigerator while the counter extension was up. Now you can. Still can't open the pantry while the counter extension is up. So just a little bit more room, a little room to spread out, a permanent bed that I can use at any time. All of those things were really important to me. A little bit more space. I'm really looking forward to it. So he just exploded because a day-use guy walked by with his fishing rod. So Kit's really excited about the new rig. He doesn't know it yet, but he is. And I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to do this. So I guess the real point of this is, don't feel like you've got to stay stuck in whatever your situation is. Take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves to you to make yourself as happy as you can. Now, I get not everybody can do what I'm doing. Not everybody has the ability to be able to make this change. And in fact, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not getting a great trade-in on this one, but I added up all the things it was going to cost me if I tried to sell it on my own, and the inconvenience of having to do that from one side of the country when I'm going to be picking this one up on the other side of the country, which included the possibility of having to rent a van, unload everything from this rig, pack it up, move it across the country while I'm sleeping on an air mattress with a 5-gallon bucket. No bueno. So there's that, and that would have cost $3,000, by the way. So there's a cost to that. There's a cost to the convenience of being able to do this. It's worth it to me to do it. Not everybody else has that ability, and I understand that. But you often have the ability to do more than you think that you do. And let's talk about self-limiting beliefs for a minute. I was having a conversation with a guy named Dave last night, and he wants to publish a book. And he's got the book basically written, and I'm like, so when are you going to release it? He said, well, I'm trying to get it done during this warm season. And of course, the first thing is, whenever anybody says try, what I hear in my coach's head is, oh, I'm failing to get it done during this warm season. I said, well, what's the warm season mean to you? And he couldn't give me an actual answer. I said, look, if you really want to publish this book, pick a date to publish it, and then work backwards from that to figure out what all you have to do to get there by that date. And at first he was really resistant to it, and he's telling me all about this stuff he's got to do. And finally I let him spew all his stuff, and then I said, all right, so I'm curious. What if that wasn't true? It's a great coaching question, by the way. What if it wasn't true that you have to do what you believe you have to do? Because you don't. Most of the time it's just a story we're telling ourselves. And he thought about it for a minute. He said, well, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this. I said, stop and think a minute. What if that wasn't true? Why do you believe you have to do all of those things? And from his perspective, he thought he was protecting himself from potential litigation or arbitration over somebody taking the advice that he was giving in the book incorrectly. So he wanted to have all these citations that showed how he got to where he was. I said, what if you wrote a preface to the book that said, basically, these are my ideas, this is what I believe to be true, this is what works for me. I'm not giving you specific advice, I'm telling you to use this information in whatever way works for you, but I'm not responsible for your outcome. That solves all your arbitration and litigation problems. Write it a little bit better, obviously. And when I said that, he just stopped for a minute, and he looked at me and said, I never thought of it that way. I said, that's why what if it wasn't true is such a great question. It's an absolutely outstanding question. And in fact, that question was what got me to be able to retire. And that question is what got me living full-time in my RV without even realizing I was planning to do that. Pretty cool situation. So, and I don't know that I've ever shared this on the channel before, so I'm going to share it now real quick. I was up in Northern California, let me think about the date real quick. That would have been April of 21, meeting with my mentor to discuss what it was that I was going to be working on for the rest of the year to make my real estate business flourish. And we're sitting there at his house and we're drinking coffee and we're chatting for 5 or 10 minutes, and he said, what is it that you want to work on? I said, it's a great question. I've been thinking about it for weeks, knowing that, this opportunity was coming up. And the truth is, I really don't know what the answer is. I haven't been able to come up with what it is that I truly want. So we're chatting again for a little while. And fully formed as a thought, with just out of the blue, popped out of my mouth, I want to be done with real estate. I want to be done with that business. I'm done with it. I'm bored. It's not doing it for me anymore. I love helping people, but there are a lot of, being a real estate broker is a whole big thing. Some of you know me and know me from that business. Some of you don't. Even those of you that know me from that business, you really don't know what goes on behind our personal communications. You know, there's a lot of stuff in the background that, yeah, you just don't know. So we spent the next hour trying to figure out how to replace the amount of income that I needed if I gave up my real estate brokerage. And then we went out and we had brunch. We went for a walk in the redwoods. It was absolutely lovely. We did a little meditation. It was awesome. And we're driving back to his house. By the way, he's got this. I'd never had this experience before. He's got an AMG Mercedes, and we're going through corners, and the seat like compressed against me in the corner, so I wasn't going to like flop around. It was really cool. Just saying. If you've had that experience, leave a comment down below. If you haven't, see if you can find somebody that's got one. So super fun. Anyway, we're driving back. I looked at him. I said, as I'm thinking about this, what if it wasn't true? What if I don't actually need to replace my income? What if I choose to just live off of savings, which I had, until I'm at a point where I can collect Social Security? And I thought about that for a little bit, and it felt really good to me. And then my reality, and I am super, super blessed and so, so grateful for it, my reality is that I bought this rig that I'm in now in August. I went out for a 5-week trip, I thought, in October, toward the end of October 21. And while I was out, I started thinking, I was like, well, what if I turn my house into an Airbnb and I just keep going? What if I do that? And so I went back to my home base, did all of the work to turn my house into an Airbnb, and then hit the road again. And I'm super lucky. I'm really, really blessed and very, very grateful. The Airbnb has been doing very, very well. And as a result, it allowed me to easily close my brokerage last year without needing to replace the income. So, all of that from asking, what if it wasn't true? What if it wasn't true? If you can ask yourself that question, you're going to potentially open up possibilities that never even occurred to you before. And if you can get somebody else to ask that question of you, that's even more powerful. It really is. It's super cool stuff. So, thank you so much for hanging out. I've got 2 more days of hard driving and 3 more sleeps before I have the next RV. I am really excited about it. So I'll be checking back with you about that. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and always remember to sally forth, live your best life, go out and adventure in whatever way works for you.